Hi, it's me again with Corel tips and tricks. Somebody sent me this file, and if we start moving it, we can see it's a bitmap and not a vector file. It's actually a bitmap CMYK. I don't like his ear, and if we look really close, it's fuzzy. So for the one I'm doing it for, I reduced it in size quite a bit. It's less than 5 inches tall. I've set my nudge factor on 3. I'm going to grab it. I'm going to grab trace bitmap, outline trace clip art. Now, in this particular case, it doesn't get all the detail. So I'm going to see the eyeballs missing. So I'm going to grab it and run it up there and get the eyeball back. I'm going to say, okay. Then I'm going to nudge it over. Now from here, we're actually done. That's that same color. We could fill in the part. Now, the only problem is one, it's still fuzzy because it was so fuzzy. It's got like double lines whenever you see that. So let's back up here. Let's take the color away from here by left clicking, right clicking. And I can just automatically see that this line is double and twice as thick as the outside. Now there's a couple ways to do it, but probably the easiest would be to take the Smart Fill tool and fill that in. Shouldn't be taking that long. Move it over, and I'm going to left click, right click. That most likely will get rid of one of the lines, but it's still real rough. And you wouldn't want that. I think the outside line is pretty straight, so we just need to work on this. So if we take this and go up to object and break the curve apart, and then we have individual objects, it's almost easier to work on individual objects. So I'm going to grab that and grab it with the shape tool. In that little bitty space that's only little bitty, there's 585 nodes. So I'm going to go up here and select them all, and I'm going to hit 20. And see, I already reduced it to 219. Let's do another 20. Now it might have changed up the shape, but not really. You can't really tell it. Now it's still rough. So I would just take the smoothing tool that came like at X7 or something. This is way too big. So I'm going to make it like 0.2 because I don't want to touch but one line at a time. So you want to click on it till you see the nodes react, and then just go over it pretty quickly. You don't want to spend too much time on one spot. So we went from 171 nodes to 15 nodes. Now, what's good about this, we could actually use it for both eyes. So I'm going to hit the plus key and turn it red, but then I'm going to mirror it, and I'm going to move it over this eye. And then I'm going to take the black one and just delete it. I'll go ahead and make this one black again. The ears are the same. You know, there's a lot of nodes, and that's going to show up in printing. It just has to. So let's just grab it all and take it on 20. I never really figured out what the 20, if it's a percentage or what. But let's just don't do it twice and go for the smoothing tool. And yeah, I could have done the whole thing with the smoothing tool, but sometimes it does less distortion. Now, I like that ear, so I could delete this one, and I can Control D and make a duplicate and then mirror it, and then just move that ear over to here. I do not like that ear. I'm going to fix it in a second. Same thing on here with the shape tool. Look at all the nodes. I mean, 439 nodes in an oval. So this time I'm just going to smooth it. I'm not going to reduce it, and we'll see what happens. Sometimes it's hard to click on it. Got to be right on it. There we go. And now I did not reduce it by that magical 20 because in this I should probably have, because this is taking a little bit longer than I wanted. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but if you just keep going around, it'll be perfect. Now, the only other thing is it's outside of his head. So I'm going to nudge it out. And I'm going to go ahead and take the shape tool. Look at all the nodes. 2,400 nodes. I am going to reduce it by 20. And see, that didn't get rid of most of them, but it got rid of a lot of them. I'm going to go and use the smoothing tool. And let's make it bigger this time, like 0.6. Because we're not having to worry about hitting anything else, we can smooth that out quite a bit. I'm going to fix that ear. There's two ways you could fix that ear. One of them is just manually. I think we got it. Go back to your shape. And he might not want the ear fixed. I don't know. It's his. I think he drew it. But see, that looks so much better to me. Now I'm going to take that and nudge it over. And I'm going to take this and go up to Object, Group and Ungroup All. We're trying to grab just the outside. Now, see, our inside ear is different than our outside ear now. And why are there, oh, you know what? Let's do this. There's two sets of lines here. So I'm going to go to Object, Break Curve Apart, and then we can get rid of this. Well, we might have to just delete it. And then we can move the whole thing over. Now, the only difference is our line up top, and you could do this several ways. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. That doesn't look too bad. You can always get your handles, bring it in a little bit. Now, the only difference is the space between his head is quite a bit different. You know what we're going to do? And there's two sets of lines there. Let's see if we can't delete this line. No, not really, because we need that. Well, there's several ways we could do it. But see the lines thicker here. So let's try this. Let's take his face. Yeah, take his face, and let's contour the outside at 0.04. And let's cut away this line. And to be able to cut away this line, we're gonna have to take our shape tool, grab that node right there and right click and break apart. There's a lot of nodes here, but I'm gonna grab the corner one, break apart. And by doing that, now I can delete that whole head. I know this is probably confusing to some people. That looks a lot better. With exception, we need to bring these lines in. So we're just going to bring that line into there. And now this one is, for some reason, you know what? Let's do this. Let's go way down here. Put that about there, and then I'm going to right click and break apart. And because it's open at the top, instead of trying to rework the whole thing, I'm just going to delete it. That's a little bit funky right there. Somehow I did something. You know what we're going to do? We're going to delete all the outside lines. There we go. Now I'm going to move his head away for a second. Let's get rid of this. Always get rid of stuff you can't do anything with. And I hit delete instead of nudge. I'm going to take this and I'm going to try to, if you notice I can't contour it, but I'm going to make a boundary, move the boundary over, and then I can contour. And then that way we have a perfect line around it. Now we got double lines here. Now what we're going to have to do, because we contoured, I'm going to select it all, go up to Object, break the contour apart. This is a lot more involved than the person who sent this to me probably thought. Now, the only thing wrong now is his collar is going to be thicker than everything else. There's a couple of ways we could fix that by, tell you what we're going to do. We're going to delete these nodes manually. And I can't go too big or I'll get up into the collar. See the other collar. And then since we have this, we got all the nodes missing, we could bring this just up. And then use your handles to make it kind of even. And then take the Smart Fill tool. Shit on red, we'll go ahead and fill that in, that in, that in, that in, that in. Then we'll get our black. Now he's evidently using CMYK. I'm going to use RGB. Fill in all the little X's and ears and the outside. And there you have it. A great vector line. It's a little bit off, you know, like right here that could be fixed. You know, you could bring that up, delete some nodes. I could have cleaned up his body a little bit more. Anyway, I hope that helped them a little bit. Thank you for watching.